Hi everyone, this is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome to this week's Holy Ground Fellowship Middle East Update. And it is September 4th, and we're going to look back upon the events that have transpired this week. Remember, there is a PDF PowerPoint that goes along with this YouTube, and there's always more information on that we have time to share on the video. So make sure you grab that. It should just be a link on the YouTube page. So we always begin with our news bites, and it's going to be filled with Trump and Netanyahu, obviously. We'll start with Bibi at the cabinet meeting this week. He explained to his cabinet that President Trump has made it clear, forget the partial deals, go in with full force, finish it. That's the theme. That's what's happening in Israel today. The IDF chief, Amir, said on Sunday that the military will not stop until every Hamas leader is reached. And then he added this, including those outside of Gaza. Keep in mind, many of the upper leadership of Hamas are in Doha at this point, in Qatar. So again, not something to be taken lightly with Israel's assassination track records, right? So the King of Jordan, after a conversation with him, the French President Macron confirms in a tweet that the Committee for Recognizing a Palestinian State will be held, and you might circle this date, September 22nd in New York. But never forget this. Never forget that the anti-Israel moves of the UK, of Europe, Canada, Australia, really, it's not about Israel. They're about the Islamic takeover of their countries. They're making these decisions based upon what they feel is best for their country. Misled as it may be, I get it. Now, some news as far as the land itself. Israel is, the Sea of Galilee is approaching not just the red line, it's gone beyond below that. It's getting close to the black line. And so Israel is going to pump a desalinated Mediterranean water into the Sea of Galilee. So this project is meant to replenish the country's main freshwater reservoir. And that's supposed to begin in mid to late October. And then breaking news just out, before I even turn this on to get started, I read this that says, no more ceasefires. This war ends only with victory. Gaza City, the capital of Hamas's terror and propaganda machine, is now under full IDF assault to ensure that it will never again be used to murder, manipulate, or terrorize the Jewish people. I think we've gone past the point of no return. Truth be told here, kidnapping versus bombs. I'm into our articles now. When kidnapping becomes the strategy, and the West needs to learn that all that's transpired has really emboldened Hamas. They've learned this effective lesson. Rockets, with all their noise and fire, they cost millions, and they rarely achieve their goals. But hostages, innocent men, women, children, paralyze nations. Negotiations to free current hostages remain ongoing, and yet, make no doubt about it, Hamas is already plotting for their next abductions. And then Trump, in speaking to Israel directly, makes the comment, Israel is losing in its public relations. Hamas knew that. They've poured billions. Hamas basically, while we pour billions into tanks and jets, Hamas, that's Israel, Hamas has built a propaganda army. They have 1,500 operatives, twice the size of the IDF's media wing. They have over 1,000 combat cameramen with GoPros and live feeds. The editing rooms are churning out guerrilla warfare clips, and hostage videos are staged down to the very last detail. Again, the question is that when will Israel finally decide to fight the PR war with the same strength that it's fighting in its battlefield? It must take place. Generation Z, the 18 to 30-year-olds, are so indoctrinated, whether it's in video, social media, TikTok, you name it. That's the truth for them. And Israel is losing this battle. And then we have Belgium coming on the scene, and the Belgian government has decided, lo and behold, we're going to recognize a Palestinian state. But here's what our conditions are. The release of all the hostages and the complete withdrawal of Hamas. That's our requirement. And so again, Gideon Sa'ar, the prime minister, or the foreign minister of Israel, his quote is, "This is a very strange decision made under intense pressure. The establishment of a Palestinian state does not depend on Brussels, but on Jerusalem. And we have no intent of creating a state that would be clearly a terror state." By the way, that was already tried 20 years ago, and it's called Gaza. So he goes on at the end and says, I don't know how the Belgian government intends to end Hamas's rule, how they're going to persuade them. Are they going to beg them? Of course, we're open to diplomatic solutions, but if Hamas wants to disarm and release the hostages, truth be told, the war ends tomorrow. More on this in a moment. There's a plan, again, with this two-state solution. We're finding Israel's response to that is to begin the process of annexing the West Bank. And so I want you to see this visual, this map, and you'll see that, again, this is from Smotrich. He plans, the proposal is to annex 82% of the West Bank. So take a look at the green and take a look at the yellow, and know this, the more, his words, the more they talk about a Palestinian state without Israel's permission, the longer they're going to have to wait for it, and the smaller and smaller and smaller it will be. And then back to our country, Rashida Tlaib, and of course Ilhan Omar back in the news. Rashida spoke at a conference last week, leveled harsh criticism against Zionists. One of the featured speakers at the conference that she spoke at cited and supported Hamas. But what got me was this quote. This is from Rashida. "They thought they could kill us, rape us, imprison us, violently uproot us from our olive tree farms, starve our children to death, and then we would disappear." This said Tlaib, who's, as you know, Palestinian parents immigrated to the U.S. in 1976. Then she goes on, well, guess what? Now we are in Congress, and we're in every corner of the United States. They will never truly comprehend, even after 7 decades, that we're not going anywhere. She continued, we're just getting started. And I want to say to all of them, every genocide enabler, look at this room, and then she uses a curse word, mother, you can fill in the blank. We ain't going anywhere. Rashida in our Congress. And then if you remember back a few years ago, Ilhan Omar's comment about, it's all about the Benjamins. in terms of Congress people supporting Israel. Keep in mind, this just leaked. Ilan's Omar's net worth is now estimated to be $30 million. Question, is that what Congress is being paid these days? Where's she getting this money? All right. And then I wanted just to sort of be crystal clear. The Prime Minister's office just released this, and I think it's entitled, "When Will the War End?" And the war, the Israeli cabinet has made it crystal clear that the war can immediately end under the following conditions that were set by this cabinet. 1, the release of all the hostages. 2, the disarmament of Hamas. 3, the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. 4, Israeli security control in the Strip. 5, the establishment of an alternate civilian government that does not indoctrinate for terrorism, does not dispatch terrorism, and does not threaten Israel. Only after these conditions will peace or a ceasefire come into play. Again, that's crystal clear. That's when the war will end. And then our friends of Holy Ground, obviously, we're friends of Behold Israel, Amir Safadi. Just a quote on his site this week says, based on all that I know, September's likely to bring what can be best described as a political tsunami. October will mark what comes out of this tsunami, military. Without intending to sound overly sensational, I believe that the next 60 days will profoundly shape the world. And that's from our friend Amir. So that's our report for this week. We always end with a word of prayer. And so with that, Jesus, we would ask, we know that you are totally in control of all things. Nothing on this chessboard is catching you off guard. And so you tell us that we're to watch and pray. And so we pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We pray for wisdom and counsel for our president as well as Bibi Netanyahu. And we do pray for the soon release of the captives. Bring them home today. God bless you all, and shalom.